Dianna, thanks for getting together with me today. I understand that your dad passed away last year. And one of the unique things that was involved with that was a decision for assisted suicide, I think is the term. I'm not sure if they've changed that.
I think it's assisted death now. Yeah, suicide's a little harsh, I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if we can have a discussion about that, and you can start at whatever beginning point feels right for you. But tell me what that experience was like for him, for you, for your family.
Wow. Okay. It was a multi-step experience actually, because when my dad had was going into liver failure, and he had inquired about it months prior to his actual death. Okay. And he was told that he wouldn't qualify, and that they had just legalized it, but that there was a huge backlog, and that by the time he would reach that in the list,
right,
reach his part in the list, that he'd be too far gone, and so he wouldn't qualify. So he had kind of taken it away from his thought process that this is what he was going to do, and but when it actually came down to it, he did qualify. Okay. They were able to expedite it for him, and but there was a sense of urgency with it, because in order to participate in that in an assisted death, you have to be of sound mind.
Okay.
And so there is a timeline that at a certain point you're no longer of sound mind. And with his liver failure, his brain would get toxic, and he would get scrambled, and he would lose his lucidity, and so he was concerned that he would reach that point and not be able to follow through on this.
So tell me how they expedited it. Tell me more about that.
Well, they basically, his liver specialist, and I'm going to give you the wrong details, I'm sure, but they got a hold of the palliative care nurse.
Right.
Started coming in, and the palliative care nurse gave my mom and my dad some information on assisted death. There were 2 doctors in Calgary that do it.
Right.
And but from the time that they inquired,
right,
to the time the nurses that assist in it, they came and interviewed him first.
Okay.
And said, yeah, we have a timeline, we can get this done for you within 5 days.
And then what happens?
Pick a day. So then they determined, based on Dad's interview and right, inquiries, that same thing we're doing today. We're talking about it, asking why he was interested in this, why they felt this was the way to go, and they took that back to the actual doctor that did the procedure. He in turn showed up within hours to interview Dad.
Okay.
And which was exhausting for him, quite honestly. He wasn't in the shape for visitors really to begin with. So it was exhausting, and he had to really focus and staying, lucid. And anyway, so the doctor explained what he did and provided him with the procedure, and they had to sign some papers and made him comfortable with knowing that he could change his mind at any time throughout the procedure.
Okay.
And when would you like to do it? And there was a few disappointing things about it, because I guess at the time that Dad really wanted to do this, he wanted to do it on his timeline, and because there isn't enough doctors right now that do it, he did have to compromise on his timeline. So
tell me how his timeline would have been different from the doctor's timeline.
Well, the day that he felt was the day for him, the right day for him, the doctor was not going to be in town.
I see.
So he wasn't going to be available to be able to do the procedure on that day, which meant he had an option to bump it up 2 days or bump it back 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
and the bumping it back 2 or 3 days, he actually wanted to do, but it would have meant falling on my daughter's birthday.
Oh, that's tough.
And so I didn't want to be selfish on that. I didn't want to be selfish at all, but I did remind him of that this was something that maybe if there was any way, if he had control over it, if he could not. And it was her 21st birthday, and anyway. So how do you ask your dad not to die on that day?
Yeah.
So sorry.
I'm sorry, Dianna. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it meant he had to bump it up 2 days earlier than what in his mind he felt comfortable with.
Right.
Which created a whole whack of turmoil for him building up to that.
Okay.
Just, am I ready? And turmoil within the family too. Because now we're struggling. Now we're rushing to do all the things that we needed to do. And, we brought food. He wanted to eat everything he possibly could eat because it was going to be the last time.
Yes.
So one meal was Indian food, and one meal was raw oysters, and one meal was we were all it was just somewhat chaotic. But chaotic I'm not missing this for a second.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the day comes, and then what happens?
So we had decided, my mom and my dad had a requirement that they wanted to have them a couple of hours in the morning together by themselves, kind of as their last morning. The nurses weren't coming until 1 to start setting him up, and so we showed up at about 10 o'clock, and it was just my brothers, their significant others, myself, and my mom. And my dad didn't want a lot of people there. He didn't even want certain people to even know to this day. So anyway, and we decided that we would have a toast. I asked him what he would like to have as a last, so we could do a toast to him, and he wanted drambuie. So we went out and I'd never had drambuie in my life. So I brought some drambuie, and it was actually, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience just to have that warm sensation in your body when you're already, you're just on edge.
Okay.
And so we had an opportunity to toast him and say some wonderful words, and we each took a turn and gave the nurses some drambuie too. And there it was. So what a great closure. It was like a great closure to have that opportunity. To say amazing things, to honor him. Yes. So anyway.
And tell me what you think that was like for your dad.
That's a really, really, really good question, because I don't know in that type of situation, if you're accepting of your decision still. I don't know.
Yes.
For that, after that, it happened so fast between the time of doing our toast and gulping down our drambuie to him moving to his hospital bed and being hooked up with all the IVs and he was asleep within a minute.
Okay.
So I don't know if there was this sense of in him, or this sense of finality, or this sense of or whether he thought we were just all bullshitting, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know if he looks at me every day and is grateful. I don't know any of that.
Yes.
So I know, but death is for the living. It's not for the dying.
Right.
It's what we needed to make for ourselves. It's how we needed to be able to participate and experience it and be okay with it.
Yes.
So, for my mom, we needed to be strong and supportive for her and for ourselves. And so whatever he was thinking, or whatever, if this made him feel like his final moments were all worth it, or You know, in the end, does he know? Did it matter? Don't know.
Yes. And you
But it
mentioned
mattered to us.
you mentioned it felt like closure.
Yes. Yes, we had the opportunity to say the things, because how often does that not happen?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we all shared in that we all shared in this, I will say it again, I've said it a million times, it was an amazing moment.
Wow.
It was an amazing experience. It was an amazing, I've seen people die. I saw your dad die.
Yes.
I've seen other people die, and I think there's different trains of thought about that, the overwhelmingness of watching death occur, and some people are really afraid of it, but to have to watch that happen with somebody you love and to be there for it from right to the end, like I couldn't stop touching him. He was dead, and he was not, it wasn't scary, it wasn't violent, it was just pleasant, it was peaceful, and he got to have his family around him, and I just couldn't imagine it any other way, you know. So
Thank you for giving me the honor of talking about that with you today.
yeah, no problem. No problem.
Aw.
No, you know what? It's coming up to my dad's 1 year on October 2nd. So we're already building up to what do you do for that 1 year anniversary. I know there's something that we have to acknowledge, and so it is something that's in the back of our minds anyway. So it's good thank you for letting me blabber.
Thank you so much.